Hello, world, everybody out there. This is the Real Resilience Talk podcast, and I am still Cam. This is episode 95, 95, and I live near I 95, so it makes it even more fun, everybody. But as I always say, this show is inspired by the First Amendment. So we're going to try to use our freedom of speech for good to probably help some people out there and hopefully help some people out there. I have an amazing guest today. We've been corresponding for the past few months. She runs an awesome organization called Have Lifelong Wellbeing. Don't we all want that? Have lifelong well-being. Don't we all want that? So I just hope you have your ears open and your attention cued in, because I have the one, the only, the amazing Miss Eileen Kopsaftis. And I said it right. Did I do it right? Did I do it right?
You did. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like I
did
could
it.
do a backflip or something, the running amazing.
Everybody clap, clap, clap. Brr, 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 brr. Miss Eileen, how are you today, ma'am?
I am well and excited to be here. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, and to everybody, I'm remodeling, so you'll see, and this is going to give people more more ammunition to mess with me. My background, my eyes are a little crooked, and I see a little crooked, so you could tell my background's a little crooked. And I put it over a window, so the light shines through even the brick. So that is right there. I'm doing good besides moving into a new place, but I'm thankful to be moving into a new place because I've moved out of somewhere, not moved into somewhere before in life. So that happens, but it's so good to be here with you. Thank you. I'm saying, Miss Ali, you got the patience of a saint. I'm telling you, we have been back and forth. I've had so much still going on, but you made time, and I just thank you for being on the show today. Thank you.
Yeah. I just think that shows my age. The older you get, you realize nothing is Armageddon
That's right.
and everything works out. And just wait, it'll all get better. So,
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. So everybody, Miss Eileen, like I said, have lifelong well-being, and I'm gonna put it in the show notes, and you can follow what she's doing and how her organization is helping people out there. But first, I want to ask Miss Eileen, what is resilience to you, and what is your background, or what brings you to the show today?
well, resilience is the fact that we don't quit. No matter what's going on in our world, we keep going. And I've had many people contact me who have gone through the gamut of the medical mill, like every test, every procedure, every treatment, and they're still suffering. They're still dealing with their issues. Nothing has worked. And yet they haven't given up.
That's right.
They're still seeking, knowing that there's got to be somebody out there that's got an answer. And so I admire that so much. And I tell you, I've met some of the most amazing people who have been through so much and they haven't given up. So to me, that's resilience. And then how I started into this is when I was very little, I wanted to be a doctor. But when I got old enough to go to college, I didn't really agree with the medical model. I mean, I don't have anything against doctors. Anybody goes to school for that many years and spends that amount of money to get a license. They want to help people. And, most of them, there's always somebody in a profession that's not such a nice person, but
That's
most of
true.
them are really good people.
It's true.
And so, it's the medical model of like medically manipulating those biomarkers in the blood work. Oh, your blood work looks great, but you're taking 5 meds
Yeah.
and you're not doing what you need to do to address the reason you need those meds. And the meds don't fix anything. They
Hmm.
just manage it.
That's right.
And so, so many people don't realize that, oh, I got great blood work and they're so happy. And yeah, so I won't get off on that tangent. I could go for a while. But the thing is I just really didn't agree with the medical model. So I was very much into nutrition at the time. I independently was just like studying a nutritional almanac. And so I thought I'd go into nutrition. And then when I got the book from I had like 5 colleges around me within a half-hour drive. So I found one of them did do a nutrition program diploma. And I got the book and I didn't agree with anything that they were teaching because back then they were doing the 4 food groups and
Hmm.
all kinds of stuff. And I guess I was ahead of my time, but I thought I'll be arguing with the professor and I'll get failed. So you know, but in the same book, they had the physical therapy program. And I thought, huh, I've always been very fascinated by the human body, by anatomy and how it works and how it functions. And I could actually work with people one on one, spend time with them and help them. And so that's what got me into the profession. And then, as God kind of always orchestrates things, One of the speakers who came to our class in my senior year was a woman who was a PT. She was very, very skilled, and she had like a 3-week waiting list for people going to work with her. And I loved what she had to say about different techniques and things you could do. So I contacted her when I graduated and I said, "Would you mind telling me what coursework actually helped you to be a better therapist
Hmm.
and what coursework like wasted your time?" Because I don't want to, I mean, I was a single mom and there was no way that I had the time or the money to take coursework that wasn't going to help people. And so she quickly became a good friend, a mentor. We drove within, if it was within 5 hours, we would take coursework together, and I learned so much. And I was able to help a lot of people.
That's beautiful.
And then move forward, I learned this. It was, to me, it was the holy grail of movement, because in my profession, people might be surprised at this, but you don't really get taught how to fix people.
That's true.
You get taught how to assess,
Hmm.
like manual muscle testing, push up against my arm, which is kind of useless unless they've got a neurological disorder and you're trying to determine what nerves aren't working.
Hmm.
But for the most part, when it comes to human movement and function, the manual muscle testing is kind of useless. Having somebody lay on a table and having them lift their leg against your hand doesn't tell you how that muscle functions when they're actually upright and walking
Yes.
or
Amen.
squatting or lunging or getting in and out of a car or picking up a grandchild. And so it's useless. And the exercises that we're kind of taught general stuff, and it's all about isolating muscles. It's like, okay, let's work your quads today. Let's work your hamstrings today. And that's not how the body works either. So I really wasn't big on giving people exercises because I felt like I would cause more harm than good, if that makes any sense. I was big on, getting them aligned properly and making sure the joints were working. I had like, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 different manual techniques in my toolbox. But I came across the Gray Institute through a colleague of mine, and they teach authentic human movement.
Authentic human movement. I
Yeah.
like that.
And Dr. Gary Gray is the most brilliant man I've ever met when it comes to how the human body functions. And so I've taken all their coursework, even their advanced stuff. Their fellowship program was 40 weeks, 250 hours. And
Ooh.
it would make your head hurt. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, and I had taken all their coursework up until then. But I look at someone moving now and I see all the connections
Hmm.
and I see, okay, your knee hurts because your ankle's not functioning right,
Yes.
or your neck hurts because your ankle's not functioning right. It's, I've learned so much from them. And to me, it was the holy grail of movement. I was so excited because now I can train people how to fix their own bodies through movement.
That's empowering right there.
Yes, very. So I guess that was a really long answer.
No, no, it was wonderful. It was awesome because I want to first say thank you for, your service to humanity, because chronic pain and those multiskeletal like alignment issues, oh my goodness, it gives me more than a few bad days is what I can say. And I've had the surgeries and I've been through PT, and it's such a crapshoot. Like, I had a really great facility I went to at some places and then not so much at others. And I couldn't agree with you more. I never thought about that, even when I was assessed when I left active duty and they give you your VA appointments to assess where you're at, it was laying down and like all these positions that like, okay, I'm holding my baby and I'm trying to get a bag out of the car. That's life, but that's not assessed. And then, oh my God, sciatica comes from that. So first, thank you for that. But then also I'd like to highlight for everyone else, like authentic human movement from Dr. Gray, like out there you can learn and you can help yourself. And that's the thing. We talk about self-actualization on the Maslow hierarchy of needs. That's how you can actually self-actualize, is if you can learn how to take care of yourself the best way. I love it. And I thought it was so cool too, what you highlighted. And to anyone out there listening, You sought out a mentor. You sought out somebody who was already where you want to be. And then, let me do like Bruce Lee said, apply what is necessary, discard what's not, and then make it my own. That's just so cool, because a lot of times we'll want to go somewhere, we'll want to do something, and it's like, where do I start? And yeah, we got ChatGPT and we got AI, but there is nothing like reaching out to a human that you admire or you see doing what you want to do and going, how'd you get there? So for anyone listening, hey, like she said, resilience, don't quit. There's other answers out there. There's other things out there. Okay, try a new thing and go seek a new mentor. So I just say thank you. And it was a wonderful background. And how's that all accumulating to today and what you're doing with the Academy of Have Lifelong Wellbeing? Don't we all want that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I always say I'm really not all that brilliant. I'm just extremely gifted at finding brilliant people,
Ooh, that's
learning what they know. And a lot of the times, these brilliant people don't teach the public.
Mhm.
So the Gray Institute teaches movement professionals, PTs, and different professions, athletic trainers, that kind of thing. And they don't really teach the lay public. Now, somebody could go onto their website and could take one of their courses, but it might completely overwhelm them because they do teach a lot of anatomy and a lot of different things that they may not have a background to even be able to understand.
lots of syllables. I can't even say kinesiology. You know what I'm saying? You know what I was trying to say. The K word.
Well, the medical profession is really big on using big terms.
Yeah.
And I always joke and say that so they can, make the bill a little bit higher, like orthostatic hypotension. Okay. You get dizzy when you stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, let's make it complicated, right?
Every syllable adds a zero to your bill. Decimal point.
Yeah. There's a joke about that. But I feel like it's my task, while I'm here on Earth. I feel like it's what I've been given to do, is to teach this to the public in a way they can understand. Because I started doing the classes at the local community college, and I saw, oh my gosh, I got like 30 people in the class, and I just taught them all how everything's connected
Yeah.
and how to fix their own body. And I did it in like four classes. So I created an online private club where people can learn independently if they like to be independent. I also have my academy where we have live classes every week where I'm there for Q&A, and there's all kinds of other things. I have office hour where I answer a lot of questions. But I want people to know this. So that's why I do these podcasts. That's why I have a YouTube channel. I have a lot of free stuff. I have free memberships available. It's not mainstream knowledge, but it should be.
Yeah. No, for
Because
sure.
so many people are suffering. And I wouldn't be able to go to sleep at night
Amen.
if I wasn't part of this solution.
Oh my God, that is such a powerful statement right there. I try to convict myself, and it's like there's no fence sitting in life. Like you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution, and people don't like that because it sounds very binary and very all or nothing. It's not a cognitive distortion. Are you being part of the problem or are you being part of the solution? There's no fence sitting. So the fact that, and I say thank you again to you, because that's the most powerful thing in leadership is how do I take a concept? How do I take a mission? How do I take a task and put it out there in a way that people can understand and speak their language and not coddle or baby anybody, but get it to where it's an effective messaging. And I think we lose that so much in just regular communication on so many things, but I know it gets, the more syllables, the more complicated it gets, but you're not going to impress anybody by using big terms or sounding all educated. You're actually just going to keep them misinformed and probably a little turned off or intimidated by what you're trying to tell them. So thank you for being a leader, a person out here that's not just doing a job. It sounds to me, and the passion that you speak from, this is a calling for you to make the world a better place, because it's chronic pain. I can't tell you how many mistakes, how many things, I drank for a long time to suppress, and I self-medicated for a long time. I drank enough for everybody out there who's listening, so I don't need no more. But I turned that off about 7 years ago. But a lot of that was to do with a lot of the chronic pain and a lot of the pain in my body, the sciatica, the ankles, the back, the neck. I'm sounding like songs right now, and I'm not trying to complain, but that put such a strain on my life and my quality output as a father, as a husband, as a Marine, as a quote unquote leader. It messed me up. So really, I think I got to sign up. Where can people go to sign up to learn from you, who's putting it down in the terms and expressions they can understand?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of different websites. I've got a website for each one of my books, and which the books are written very plain language, very like I explain a lot of things. There's Pain Culprits, which talks about the connection of everything and a lot of other information that people need to know. Like there's a lot of meds out there with a side effect of pain. And
Imagine that,
so
right?
yeah, so if they don't know that, they're chasing their tail trying to get rid
That's
of
right.
pain.
That's right.
Right? So I got a whole chapter on that. So that one's, about pain. And then I've got one called Aging Culprits, and that talks about all the lies and the myths that we've been fed for years, like our whole lives. We just expect to decline. We expect to not have any quality of life. We expect everything to just go downhill, and it's okay to have pain because it's normal.
Yeah.
At your age, what do you expect? And those are all literally, Cam, lies from the pit of hell. Because I've met so many patients who were like over the age of 100, still living independent lives, driving, shopping, cooking, cleaning, doing their own finances, quality life over 100. So, and if you go on anything on the internet, YouTube, wherever, you can see people 80s and 90s still doing ballet, like running marathons. So why do we believe they're like outliers?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they're not. The only thing they did different was they refused to stop moving.
Oh my goodness, that's powerful.
So, if we believe we're supposed to decline, yeah, we're right. If we believe we're not supposed to decline, we're right. It's like our belief system
Yeah.
impacts our actions, our day-to-day life, our choices. And so, that's what my academy is all about. People who refuse to decline.
Used to
And,
decline. Ooh,
I
that's
got
powerful.
I got people in there, most of them are over 60, a lot of them in their 70s and 80s. One of the women in her 80s lives in an apartment building, and she climbs 13 flights of stairs every day to stay in shape.
What a warrior. Whoa, shout out
Now,
to
and
her.
she's got a history too. I mean, she's got a history of, like, she's battled cancer. I mean, she's had a lot of stuff go on in her life, but she's not a quitter.
Not a quitter. Yeah. Yeah. No.
And so I mean, we had one class where we do a live class every Tuesday. And we had one class where we ended up doing about 90 squats in like 7 minutes or something. And most of them did it.
That
Now,
just
some
made
of
my
them had
that
to modify, they had to hold on, that kind of thing. But the emails that I get, Cam, just I feel like I'm like floating on air
yeah.
because of the people who tell me things like, I was able to sit on the steps and play games with my 2-year-old grandchild because of the work that I've done with you. And they mean because they're in the academy. I mean, I get emails constantly about people who no longer have pain when they hike, and they can do the things that they weren't able to do before, and their life is back.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and the interesting thing is, the human body, I'm going to use some longer terms now, human physiology and anatomy is not designed to decline on a cellular level.
Ooh, tell me
Nobody
more.
really knows why aging happens. They don't know. There's still all kinds of theories out there. I mean, there's senescence, and I mean, I could make your eyes glaze over with all the different things that I've done a lot of research on it, and nobody really knows. So, and you see people that are at such different places in life at the same age.
Mm,
I mean, you'll see somebody in their 70s who has to use a walker and takes 15 medications a day, and somebody else in their 70s who's running a marathon.
hmm. That's true.
So it's not age related stuff, it's activity related, it's life related. How are you feeding your body? How are you hydrating your body? How are you moving your body?
Moving your body. Wow.
And a
That's
lot of
wow.
people, and I don't want people to feel like, oh my gosh, but when I move, I hurt. Our body is designed to move. The joints have to move. If somebody's laying in a bed in ICU and they're in a coma, Somebody's got to go in there at least every 3 days and mobilize their joints
That's true. Yes.
because your joints have a fluid that provides nutrition to the joint and it'll start to break down after about 72 hours without movement. So we need to move. And I've seen people where, there's very simple like three plane movements, I call it a matrix, that you can do very simply. Do it several times a day. You'll start to loosen up. You'll start to see that stiffness decline. I mean, you will start to see things improve. And then there's other ways that you can train your body that will literally help to resolve chronic pain. But you have to know how to do it.
Right. And we don't know what we don't know, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I've got so much stuff out there for people to
Yeah.
be able to see.
Yeah. I'm going to definitely
But
put it all.
overall, that whole age thing, and I'll finish on the age thing with this. The age-related lean muscle loss.
Age related lean muscle loss. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me
That
more.
is something that we have been fed for decades, that you're supposed to lose muscle because you get older. So I do a lot of online events. I've done like 39 of them. And one of them I focused on power aging. And I did a lot of research into where that age related lean muscle loss comes from.
Yeah.
And every single study I read, the people they studied weren't moving. So they did a muscle biopsy. 12 years later, they did another muscle biopsy and they lost muscle, but they were sedentary for 12 years.
Yeah. That's a big, causal factor right there. That variables.
Insane. It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with age. And then I found some studies that showed people in their 80s had not lost any muscle at all because they were active.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got to stop believing all this, I'll be blunt, crap that
Yeah.
we're fed that is just not true.
Well, there's no profit in someone having lifelong well-being. I could go on and on about that subject, but there's a profit in that person being on the walker and
It's
the medical
priceless.
equipment, and then
It's basically priceless
that
for
15
somebody to get their life
medications.
back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
priceless.
yeah. That's powerful. It reminded me of the expression I've heard many a times that you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. And I heard that years ago. And you know what? I have a lot of chronic pain issues, and I feel like in a positive way convicted by what you're saying, because since I left active duty, I've curtailed a lot of the things that I do. And there's just, I say there's things I can't, I don't want to say there's things I can't do, but there's things that I shouldn't do because it invokes such a strong level of pain. So I am eager to learn more because it really does contribute to, but I've noticed in the last 6 months, this is what my point was. Sorry. I put the high definition in ADHD. Sorry, doc. Sorry. But I've noticed that the more sedentary or the more holding back that I've done because I don't have to meet certain requirements anymore. And, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And I was doing it, and I never really had the opportunity to do it because it was active duty Marine Corps 23 years. Go, 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 go. You have no choice but to go, 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 go. And since I haven't had that, you must. And I've tried to curtail to not have the pain reactions. It's actually gotten worse. And it's just, you're speaking so much life into what my last few months have been. And so many people listening right now, and like age, it really isn't a definitive thing. I don't want to quote Aaliyah, but the famous song, age ain't nothing but a number, right? It's true. It's just a number, but you can have someone that's just sedentary and they could be 25 years old, but the pain, and like you said, that 72 hours of no motion. Well, if your leg hurts and you ain't moved in the 72 hours, it might hurt more. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll hurt less if you start moving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't want to train it wrong.
That's the key right there, because that's the knowledge that I know that you provide. Because, okay, Cam, yeah, I'll go do this thing, but if I'm not doing it correctly, yes, you are going to have more pain, right, Cam? So
Yes. And a lot of the traditional, the movement industry, the fitness industry, unfortunately, trains people like dead people.
mm,
And I'm going to explain that. When we first learned anatomy, however long ago that was, Michelangelo and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the other names. But the interesting part is we looked at muscles attached to a dead body.
hmm
And so, this muscle attaches here and it attaches here. So if I, move that body part that way, the muscle contracts. So of course it doesn't in the dead body, but they're thinking it must shorten to pull those two bones closer to each other. So that's the function of that muscle.
Ah,
So everything we've understood
yeah.
about human movement is based on a dead body.
Wow, that's powerful.
So so the thing about the dead bodies is they're not moving. And that's what I love about the Gray Institute, because they look at movement
Actual
and they
movement.
look at how things are working when you're moving.
Yeah.
And a lot of the training we do is the opposite of that because it's based on dead bodies.
Like the fundamental understanding of this thing is literally a dead body. So
Yeah,
yeah, I never,
yeah,
I feel like a Brady kid right now. I'm like, I never thought about it like that.
yeah. So, and then, a lot of people are only training in one plane of motion, and
Mm,
we move in three planes of motion. We go forward and back, sideways, and we rotate. But most exercises are just the forward and back thing,
mhm,
you know? And the problem with that is the human body moves in three planes.
mm,
Even when you walk, I mean, the complexity of the human foot is jaw dropping, and it has to do a very specific thing when you land on your heel that causes a chain reaction all the way up to the neck, all the way back down before your toe comes off the ground.
yes.
That's with every single step you take. And if that foot and ankle isn't moving correctly
Hmm.
or doing its job, nothing above is going to be switched on properly.
Yeah.
And so you can end up with pain like pretty much anywhere. And I mean, I remember a guy who had chronic neck pain, and he was with the therapist he had was went on vacation. And so it was like his eighth or ninth session. And I'm looking through the notes and I'm like, I'm rolling my eyes because all they've been doing with the guy is hot pack and ultrasound and massage and range
Hmm.
of motion. And every single note I looked at, he wasn't any better. But they kept doing the same thing. It's like, okay, isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yes, right.
So so I'm looking at the guy, and I didn't want to sound like I was attacking his therapist, but I just said, well, it seems like what they've been doing hasn't been working. Are you okay if we try something else? Well, he lit up like a Christmas tree because he wanted to get rid of this pain. And so I'm talking to him and I ask him, when do you have your neck pain? And he said in the morning. He loves to take a nice long walk in the morning. And by the end of the walk, he had neck pain and a headache. And he didn't want to give up walking. And so I asked him, have you ever sprained your ankles? Because I understand the connection. And he said, oh, countless times in college, in sports. I can't tell you how many times I've sprained my ankles. Well, I looked at his ankle function and he was lacking a range of motion that should be normally between 10 and 30 degrees. And one side was 0, the other was like a -5.
Mm,
And so I mobilized his ankles. We improved the range. I gave him a very specialized way to lengthen his calf muscles because they hadn't been used that way in a long time. And he never came back. And I thought, oh my gosh, the guy thinks I'm nuts. I worked on his ankles and he had neck pain. He thinks I'm crazy. He'll probably report me.
yeah.
And so for about 3 weeks, every now and then I tried calling his house and got no answer. So 3 weeks later, he returned my call and he said he'd been called out of town for work and sorry he hadn't gotten back to me. But he said he was completely healed.
Wow.
He had no more neck pain. He could walk as long as he wanted. And because it was his ankles. Now, unfortunately, Cam, he could have ended up going back to the doctor
Yeah,
saying PT didn't work. Then they would do some imaging and they'd find something.
that's right.
Because if you're over the age of 12, they're going to find something on an image. And then they would either inject him or, God forbid, do surgery. And none of the problem was his neck.
Mm,
So, again, that's why I wrote my book, Pain Culprits. It explains the connections and
yes.
how every body part can impact every other body part. And I shouldn't say every, there's really three main culprits there's the ankles,
Mm,
there's the hips, and there's the trunk. And so if the ankles aren't working, pretty much anything above can be a mess.
mm.
If the hips aren't working, your knees might not be happy, your low back won't be happy, your shoulders won't be happy, even your
Wow.
neck. And if your trunk's not working, And how many people work their trunk? And I don't mean sit-ups and crunches, for the six-pack ab. I mean trunk mobility, your thoracic spine between your neck and your low back. Most people don't mobilize that at all.
Yes, yes, that's
And as
true.
they get older, it stiffens. It loses motion. And so if they can't turn around to back up their car in the driveway because they got low back pain or neck pain, it's their trunk.
Mm,
And so I teach some very simple mobility moves for the trunk that has helped a lot of people alleviate back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, because you've got to find the culprit
yeah.
and stop beating up the victim.
Oh, the power of language was I love it. Like these could be like a powerful hashtags, like to say pain culprits. And I know this to be true, and I felt like I was like, did she see my MRI or something like that? Because I have hip issues, back issues, I've broken my ankles, all of that stuff, neck pain. And I'm not saying that so I can sound and give my whole medical record. I don't really care. But the point of what I'm saying is like I remember I had really bad shin splints when I was a younger Marine. And I always ran on my toes. Like I played sports where you run on your toes and you want to sprint. And I thought that's how I ran. I had to change my whole position. Haven't had a problem with the shins. They still linger up every now and then, but it's not debilitating as it once was. And it's what I really think about as David Goggins, he talks about, I never even heard until he talked about that thoracic muscle and how tight it was and how he's still able to do everything he's doing with some of the medical procedures he's had. But I know from my own PT, sometimes your knee can hurt, but oh my goodness, it's actually your ITB band is too tight and it radiates into your knee. But it just reminds me of that children's song, like your ankle bone connected to the leg bone to the whatever, like knee bone connected to the, and it really is true because it's one interconnected system. And I just, it's like a revelation hearing you say it, epiphany, clarity, because I've had lower back on my right side problems, but then they narrowed it down to say, oh, his left hip is messed up. And it was like, it's so interconnected. I need to get a stronger trunk. That's what I'm buying your book today so I can learn how to make my trunk stronger. I'm dead
Not
serious.
necessarily making it stronger, it's making it mobile.
Mobile, yes, mobile.
Because if it's lacking motion, it's going to strain shoulders, low back.
Yes.
It's the mobility piece.
Wow, that's all the stuff I got problems with.
Yeah. And the low back, I don't know if you remember this, if you're old enough to remember this, but many, many, many years ago, they told people not to twist, not to rotate when they were exercising
Mhm.
because it could injure their back.
Yep.
And here's the funny thing, somebody must have gotten a hold of, there's some very complicated books on joint motion, the Kapanji books that we had to study in college. So somebody must have got a hold of that and they looked at the lumbar spine and it didn't have very much rotation available to it. The way it's designed, the way the vertebrae stack on each other, it's designed, its strength is to bend forward and backward. I mean, your back can be the strongest link in your body if it's trained from above and below.
Mm.
And so here's the interesting piece that most people are completely unaware of. If you turn and your back hurts, it's not your back because your back is getting yanked
Mm.
because it's either the trunk above or the hips below that lack rotation. Because the low back's job is to translate that
Yeah.
rotation. So if I'm standing and I turn between the sink and the refrigerator in the kitchen, so my hips are rotating and my low back complains, it's because my hips aren't rotating.
Mm. It's putting all the strain on that back.
Correct, because the back's job, if there's no pain, what the back has done is it's translated that rotation up to the trunk. And if I'm sitting and I'm rotating, the low back's job is to translate that rotation down into the hips.
Yeah.
So, and there's lots of different scenarios, it's
Right,
not
right.
just about sitting. But the problem is most people don't look above or below.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
low back's job is not to rotate. It only has about 7 or 13 degrees of rotation, which is next to nothing. But boy, it can flex and extend. That's its strength.
Yeah.
And it'll do a little side bending.
Right, right.
But for the most part, the motion, the other planes, is supposed to happen above and below.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense, like you're saying, the above and below, but also with if you turn and the back hurts, that's where you're like, oh my God, I got a bad back. Actually, like you're saying, it could be above or below. Like say hips aren't mobile, because that's what I wrote down. I'm mobile. I'm a mobilized unit getting after these pain culprits I got. But your hips are the reason why the back hurts, because the back is now having to strain
Very
because
often,
it's
yes.
going more than at 7 to 13 degrees, because the hips are just chilling like, hey, we ain't got no strong trunk. We're not moving. We're not mobile. Am I interpreting that right? And
Yeah,
Cam,
so the
all
low
right.
back gets yanked every time you rotate because
Yeah.
it can't go anywhere. The rotation can't go anywhere.
Wow, that's powerful, and it just proves once again the holistic interconnectedness of the body. Not only the body, mind, spirit, all those good things, but also just the body itself, and that's powerful. I'm definitely. You said the book's name is Pain Culprits, is where you speak
Yes,
about.
and it explains the connection on 4 major body parts. I do want to write a pain culprits too, but so many tasks and
Yeah,
I need longer days or whatever. But and then I would like to add to that. A lot of the
please.
times when you go to get treated for pain, you're seen as a body part that walks through the door. So they look at you, oh, here comes a knee, here comes a shoulder, here comes a back, and they're not looking at your whole body. They're only going to assess and treat the painful body part.
Yeah, so what they call it, acute care kind of thing, like the triage, like go after the main thing. That's the call.
Well,
But
it's their training.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, okay, so you're here for knee pain. All right. So we're going to do this, 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 and this. They're not looking at the ankles. They're not looking at the hips. Now, some therapists are trained enough to do that
yeah.
and look at the whole body. Um, but for the most part, they see you as a part.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense, time, efficiency, training, all those kinds of things. They're obviously probably not doing it with malice or bad intent, but the whole thing is no matter what your intentions or your efforts are, what's the effect? And it seems to me on so many levels, modern medicine is just not so much effective, right?
Now, it fails miserably when it comes to pain. Fails miserably.
And chronic pain is just, it's traumatizing. It's messed up every aspect of my life. And I'm sharing that because I know somebody listening, especially veterans out there and first responders and even athletes. It doesn't really matter what you do, but chronic pain becomes such a problem causer, a culprit, as you said, in our lives and how we show up in our lives. And it just something as simple as you described. And I had my own vision of it, just sitting on the stair with my little one or younger family members and being able to play a game. That's something that I want to, I shouldn't say can't, but I don't do because it hurts. It hurts,
Right.
and you miss out.
Right.
You miss out on that moment of connection with
Yeah.
said grandchild or child or whoever it may be. And really, it's a
And
culprit.
my whole passion is to give people their life back.
Yes, yes,
So, pain is very fatiguing.
it
It
is.
wears you out.
It
It
is.
makes you grumpy as hell.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, it's not a pleasant way to live.
No.
And
Eh,
it just breaks my heart that there's so many people out there hurting that
yes.
don't have to be
That don't have to
because
be.
they've lacked the knowledge, the truth, the information that's going to help them to resolve things.
That's amazing. I'm so grateful for you having this calling and being able to be so down to earth and relatable to be able to speak to these things that are very, I think you said that I forgot the manuals, but they're so in depth, but you're able to take the knowledge, interpret it, receive it, and then give what's effective to people. It's just a big salute to you and thank you for what you're doing. And I'm definitely gonna be trying to learn about these pain culprits because they stealing, they're thieves, they're stealing stuff from us, they're stealing our quality of life.
Exactly. Take it back. They
Yes.
don't have any right to take it.
Nah,
Yeah.
they've already taken enough, right? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want to say I'm really a very selfish person because helping people makes me feel really stinking good.
Amen. Oh
So
my
it's all
God.
about me.
Yeah.
I work with a consultant. That's what I tell them. Come on, make me look good. You got to feel better the next session. It's all about me. Yeah.
People, whoever has done that in whatever form it is a gift that you receive when you give. It so much is, but
It
especially
is.
when you can have, I got a tattooed right here. I love tattoos, but right I'm sorry, Jim Carrey. I'm thinking of comedians that I admire and love, but he said the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. And the effect you're having on others and helping the value and the quality of their life, well, I'll just say you're very wealthy in the most valuable currency sense, right?
Absolutely.
It's so important, and we have a lot of pain in our lives, and if there's a way to make it better, what quote also reminded me of you when you were saying what you were expressing in your journey and where you are now in your approach to things is what the great Dr. Maya Angelou said. She said, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, she said, change your attitude, attack in a different direction. And that's what to me, it sounds like you're doing and helping others do, because if it ain't worked so far, nothing changes if nothing changes, y'all. So
yeah. Well, I see change, and it will happen.
yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but I believe the conventional medical profession, and I'm not talking, if you break your leg, you need a doctor. I mean, that's a whole different story.
Well, yeah, gunshot wound, you got to go in there. You got to get,
you kind of got to have that taken care of.
That's right.
Absolutely. But I'm talking, the whole chronic pain piece, pain management.
Pain management,
Who wants to manage their pain?
I
want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't want them on my staff.
I don't manage it. I want it gone.
Fire them.
And they're horrible at that.
Yeah.
So I really believe that whole industry is just going to die because people are seeking truth. And sadly, I would like to add this little piece. They're looking at AI and ChatGPT, and that is really unsafe. They've done some studies, and yes, the AI can pass the medical board like that because it's got all the information in there. But can it treat people? Not really. Because they did a study and they gave symptoms that were very severe that would require you to go to the ER right away. And one of the answers was go to the ER. Another answer was go lay down in a dark room. Now, the person would die if they followed that advice. So, and there is no AI on the planet who's going to talk to you and say, okay, you have knee pain. Well, have you ever had a history of ankle injuries? How, what's your lifestyle? How do you move? They're not going to ask you any of that because they don't know. They don't have experience working with people. They're not looking at you as a person. They don't really have eyes, I don't think. And
not yet.
And so it's very dangerous to get your advice from that. So I really want to caution everybody. You need to find someone who's, I always say it this way, the best question to ask when you're working with a person, a live person, is how long have they been doing what they're doing and how many people have they helped? Doesn't matter how many letters they got after their name. I know I got a whole bunch of letters after my name on my books, but that's just to help people think I might know something. But, and I always joke, I was asked at a conference once, all these letters, and it starts with BS because I have, a Bachelor of Science. And I told the guy, well, you notice it all starts with BS. So, I mean, I'm just kind of joking. It doesn't matter how many letters are after somebody's name. Don't be impressed by that. Okay? Just because they're like a doctor of physical therapy doesn't mean they're better than another physical therapist that graduated long before that was required and has 30 years of experience fixing people.
Yeah.
So you got to find out how long have you been doing what you're doing and how many people have you helped?
How many people have you helped?
And a lot of the times, we follow advice from people and they're not even working with people. They don't know. What they're sharing is theoretical.
Yeah.
Or a book they read or a magazine article it's just crazy.
And they got to take the time to get to know you because, Maya Angelou, we're more alike than unalike. I totally agree. But at the same time, every human is as individual and unique as their fingerprint. Like we got our own, we got our own QR code right here, right? God gave it to us. Nature gave it to us. And we're as individual as that. So if that person isn't taking the time to ask those types of questions and get to know you and the whole, the totality of the circumstances, which are you, they're probably not going to be able to give you the most effective, even though, again, the intention is there, the effort is there, but how effective is the help that they're giving?
Yes,
It's
I agree 100%. I often say we're all a bunch of snowflakes because we're so different.
I'm definitely a snowflake for sure. I know that. But pain is it's a contributing factor to so much decline, right? And we have to, like you said, that refuse the decline, and that's some warrior ethos right there. I love it. But right now, pain is taking out a lot of our people, and one thing specifically, and I know that chronic pain contributes to this, is death by suicide. And so many people are out here hurting, and I've heard it's like this, and I remember when I was suicidal and I made attempts and had ideations that, a lot of times we'll say, think about the people that you leave behind. That's for sure true, 100%. But in that state of mind, in that dark place, you really do feel like you're doing people a favor and that you're a burden in some cases, not all cases. I'm just speaking from my own experience. But also, it's not that you want to hurt everybody. It's you want your pain to end. And the only way you see that you can is to take your own life. And I empathize with those who are in that moment, because they're not really trying to be selfish or make everybody else's life worse. They don't know the results. And really, when you have a dark place, your cognitive ability isn't always up to par. So, but chronic pain contributes to a lot of that. And when you're a man or you're a woman and you can't make love to somebody, or when you can't be with your children, or you can't work the job that you identify as, like, that is depressing. It can lead you to a downward spiral. And I know I led up to this a whole lot, this question, but I try to ask every guest because I never know how their answer may impact me or someone else and your experience and your point of view. But if someone was out there contemplating taking their own life and you had the opportunity to speak to them prior to, right now, what would you potentially say to them, Miss Eileen?
Well, I can kind of preface this with I had a brother, he was in the Navy, and he had been in an accident, and it impacted his whole life. But I remember him talking with me on the phone at one point and saying that he had put a gun to his head and he was going to kill himself. And my first question to him was, "What stopped you?"
Mm.
Because he obviously didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I didn't want my son to find me like that. So I think I would say I understand, and I can't say that I've felt this way, but I understand the fact that life doesn't feel worth living because it's too hard. And you just can't take it anymore, and you just want to give up. And it's catastrophic to have life be so bad that it's not worth living. But I believe that there's always some reason
Amen.
that you're meant to be here. And you will never find that out if you end it. And you don't know the impact that you will have on other people, because we interact with people all the time. I mean, it could be as simple as smiling at a cashier who's having a bad day, and it completely changes her attitude and how she feels. And then she goes home and she's not grumpy with her kids. I mean, you don't know that, that butterfly effect,
Amen.
right? So, I mean, I empathize with the fact that the pain feels like a tidal wave, like you're being fire hosed and you just can't stand up against it anymore. But I believe there's always an answer. There's always something that will help. And you can't give up looking.
Amen. So powerful. I couldn't agree more. And if the universe, I believe in God, didn't want us around, we wouldn't be around. And you have no idea out there. So beautifully said, Miss Eileen, like what that reason may be that you're still here, and who or what may be coming down the road of life. And they need you and we need you. So thank you for that answer. So well said. And I thank you very, very much.
Well, I hope it helps someone.
I believe 100% it will, and somebody needed to hear it from you. And you're a vessel, and you're a change maker. You're effective, and I just thank you for the service that you provide to make people's quality of life better and to really have lifelong well-being, because quality of life is I mean, it really is everything, right? So thank you for the service that you provide. And I'm going to definitely put in the show notes, everybody, where you can follow Miss Eileen, where you can get her books at, where you can follow the amazing things she's doing out there. And again, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. So why not try a different thing? Why not? And like you said, don't stop trying to change the situation.
Right. And I do kind of want to make a quick plug.
Please.
I have a free membership for the private club, and it includes a video where you can assess yourself in 3-plane motion
Got it.
and figure out where your culprits are.
Find them.
And then there's a movement class. I think it's got 6 or 7 movements in it that introduces you to training in 3-plane function. And I speak lots of modifications if you need them, how you need to change things, but that's completely free. So
Love it. I'm going to definitely put that in the links. And ladies and gentlemen, let's all say thank you. I hear y'all saying thank you right now. Thank you, Miss Eileen. Thank you, Miss Eileen Kopsaftis, for all that you're doing to make people's quality of life better.
be proud of you. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. And I just, again, keep being you, keep being a light, keep shining bright. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 95. Thank y'all for listening. And we are sponsored by Nobody, baby. Have a good one, y'all. Take care of each other. Make good choices. Thank you so much, Miss Eileen.